What is up, Ravens flock? This is Jordan with Ravens Flash Report. Today I'm going to be breaking down the Ravens 37-31 overtime win over the LA Rams that came to visit Baltimore this past Sunday on December 10th. Ravens win a dramatic game, a tough game, a windy, rainy, messy game that was messy both in the weather as well as both teams. A lot of mistakes were made by both teams, and it didn't feel like the low scoring ground and pound game that I was anticipating for this one. It's ended up being a high scoring, throw the ball all over the place type of game, which was is exciting to see. And if you're a Ravens fan, obviously you're glad we got the win. But we've got stats to get into, we've got players to get into, and so without further ado, let's get to it.
They're going to get a Super Bowl out of me. Believe that. Believe that. I'm a Raven. It's on. All year. Every year.
Hey guys, real quick. If you like the video, if you like the content that I make, please go ahead and like this video, and also check out my channel and feel free to subscribe for more Ravens content. I recently put out a hype video over the bye week, so give it a check. Let's get into these stats real quick. Lamar Jackson goes 24 for 43, 316 yards, 3 touchdowns, and interception, and he was sacked twice with a passer rating of 92.8. So Lamar was fairly inconsistent today with his deep ball, but honestly, that's pretty much the only knock that I have against Lamar. I felt like his decision making was on point. I feel like other than the interception, which was a great defensive play, I feel like he had very few of throws that he would have back from a decision standpoint. Whether he was figuring out the weather, whether he was figuring out the weight of the ball, how it flew through the rain and with the wind, whatever else it was, miscommunications with players. I just felt like he still made good decisions and still made a lot of good, important throws. On the rushing side of things, kind of a quiet day from Gus Edwards, 6 of 15 yards, only averaged 2.5 as long as was a 5. Little more from Mitchell, but other than a long of 27, he goes 9 attempts, 54 yards with that 27-yard long. So still a good day, but definitely not what we were used to, or getting used to, I should say, with Mitchell. Lamar Jackson leads this group with 11 attempts, 70 yards, his longest of 16, and his scrambles were a thing of beauty on this game, because you would have him dead to rights, bottled up in the pocket. Somebody would even be grabbing on him, and he would just get out of it. I remember watching at least 3 times. If it wasn't a first down, I think it was one play where he got 9 yards. It was a first down on the 2 others where he just scrambled out to the left and just basically did Lamar Jackson things. So for me, Lamar Jackson is going to be my offensive player of the game. I think he was just phenomenal. I feel like he was basically the only thing that could beat the Rams on this day for the Ravens. Some people were not catching the ball. The defense was giving up plays, in the first half especially. And it just felt like Lamar Jackson was willing this team to victory. A lot of good individual efforts by some, but it just felt like Lamar Jackson was definitely that guy that put us over the edge in this game. So let's get to these receiving numbers. Beckham leads the way with 4 receptions on 10 targets for 97 yards. He did have that touchdown on the 46-yard touchdown catch and somersault into the end zone. It's a really good vision by him to be able to turn around, look for the ball on either side of the shoulder. A lot of veteran presence from him, and just honestly great to see him have a great game for the second, third week in a row, especially against his former team in the Rams. So that was cool. Isaiah Likely's next up, 5 receptions on 7 targets, 83 yards. He does also have a touchdown on that 54-yard long play on the outside there on the left. And honestly, I went back and looked at the tape, and if you look at the safeties, they don't turn their heads at all. They don't look at this play at all. He's like not a threat to them. And obviously, as we saw, he definitely was. So respect to Isaiah Likely on that. Next up is Flowers, who had 6 receptions on 10 targets, 60 yards, and he had that 21-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter, plus the 2-point play right after to get the Ravens into the lead by 3 points, which we all know they ended up allowing a field goal, but we won it in overtime anyway. But without Zay Flowers on that play, it was definitely looking kind of hairy there. For Aguilar, he goes 5 for 5, 32 yards, longest of a 12, and he just had a lot of really good catches down the stretch in that fourth quarter as well on that final drive. Very sure-handed, obviously 5 for 5, but getting out of bounds, getting first downs. Great to see him out there, producing and being a useful asset to this team. Rashad Bateman, he goes 2 for 4 for 24 yards, his longest of a 14. And Lamar missing him twice on the deep ball. It was kind of, I was unsure if it was more Bateman, if it was more Lamar. Not really sure what that was. It seemed like there might have been a little miscommunication. Also, it looked like Lamar just was still trying to figure out how to get the deep ball to work on that game. So Justice Hill and Keaton Mitchell, they each have 1 reception on 2 targets. Hill has 12 yards. Mitchell has 8. So that's pretty much the stats for the receiving game. Moving into the defensive side of things, I'm not going to go through all these stats. I will give you my defensive player of the game, which is Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith ends the day with 10 total tackles. He had 5 solo, 2 tackles for loss. And I just felt like Roquan Smith really brought that energy for this defense, especially in the second half. They didn't play great in the first half. They allowed a lot of the running to Kyron Williams up the middle. And I just felt like Smith gave that energy that he was just mad about it, right? Like he looked frustrated, not like he was taking his anger out on somebody or he was, being careless or anything like that. It just seemed like he rushed extra hard to the ball and was really just on his game, especially in the second half when it mattered. So he's going to be my defensive player of the game. Overall, the play of the game for me has to be a bit unsurprising. The Tylan Wallace 76-yard punt return for the win. It was excellent to see him as a player get that first touchdown in his NFL career. It was great to see the way it happened. Obviously, as a Ravens fan, it was dramatic. It was exciting. I remember hopping up and down, high-fiving my sons they're a little bit too young to really understand the gravity of the win, but at the same time or the play, but they love a high five, so worked out. But yeah, it was a great play by him. Really happy for him. Great he could step in. I hope Duvernay, is okay. I hope it's nothing serious, but really great for Tylan Wallace and really great for the Ravens to be able to win the game. Not only overall win the game and improve to 10-3, but also fighting back from being down. Showing that obviously they know they can do that. They know that they're mentally tough, but for us fans, it's great to see that, obviously, yes, we can get ahead. We can have a lead and all that stuff. It's what we've been doing most of the season, but to see 6 lead changes in this game and for the Ravens to come out on top, to fight through that, to fight through their own mistakes, and a good Rams team that I still think is better than their record shows. And it was just a great win by this team. They were able to, while not maybe completely fixed, but they were at least able to address the issues that they were having in the first half. The offense kept the defense in the first half, and the defense, was able to hold off the Rams mostly for the second half of the game for the offense. So great game by this Ravens team. We're on to Jacksonville next week. Next week is going to be a Sunday night game, 8:20, and we'll see how this game goes. They did just lose this past Sunday to the Bengals. This is a big matchup. It does seem like we'll be without Kyle Hamilton, who, he had a decent game, but he's going to be out maybe week to week, they say, with a grade 1 MCL sprain. So I think we kind of dodged one there, but he will be week to week. So I don't think he'll be playing in this game. We'll see if he's back for the 49ers game. But either way, as long as he's ready for, the Dolphins or the postseason, whatever. But that's it for me. I would say the last thing is, like I said, feel free to like the video, check out the channel.